Our resource persons, Mr. Varun Bhatia, General Manager, Electronics Skill Sector Council of India, Mr. Varun Mandwani, Director, Sahasra Electronics Private Limited, Noida, Mr. Ankur Dubedi, Head Operations, Sahasra Electronics Private Limited, Noida. We all know that electronics is a part of our everyday life, from our pocket FM radio to televisions, computers, mobile phones, and even the high-end satellites that are helping us in many ways. Having a further look at the career prospects, there is a bound to have a huge demand for competent engineers in the electronics industries. These engineers need to be skilled in the cutting edge technology to stay ahead in the competition and their career. So what are the skills in demand? What are the career opportunities for electronics engineers today? How to acquire these skills? These are some of the important questions that pop up in everybody's mind today. So answering these questions is the prime objective of this webinar. So I am sure that this webinar will help all the participants in answering their queries in this direction. Oh, so now I will request to Dr. Ahuja, Dr. Amit Kumar Ahuja, HOD EC department, to kindly welcome and introduce our speakers. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Praveen, and welcome to all the participants, and including the resource person. So I will introduce first all the resource person who are part of this webinar today. So first, to introduce is Mr. Varun Bhatia. He is General Manager, Standards, Electronics Statistical Council of India. Mr. Varun Bhatia has more than 10 years of industry experience as project head. He is heading team standards and quality. He is handling the skill gap market research team. He is a member of QPNOS, which stands for Qualification Pact, National Occupational Standards Development Team at NSCC. He is heading more than 15 ESSPI electronic models and centers, and more than 10 centers of excellence all over the India. He is specialist in business development, project management, business strategies, business alliances, etc. So we are happy to have you, Mr. Varun Bhatia, here. Most welcome to you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, so I'll introduce second speaker, then I'll come back to you again. The second speaker for today's webinar is Mr. Varun Mandwani. He is the director, Sahasra Group of Companies. So I'd like you to know something about Sahasra, what Sahasra is and what is it doing nowadays. Sahasra was conceived in the year 2000, the new millennium, and since then it has been one of the successful fastest growing electronics companies in India. The group comprises of 6 businesses providing end-to-end electronic solutions from design to manufacturing to distribution. With 4 manufacturing plants situated in NCR, India, 1 manufacturing plant in Nevada, that is Africa, as well as 8 sales and marketing offices in India, USA, Canada, Africa, and Europe. This group has emerged as the leading exporter of electronic products and services. And the companies that comes under this group are Sahasra Electronics Private Limited, Info Power Technology Limited, Sahasra Electronics Rwanda Private Limited, and there is the founder of Sahasra Sambhav Development Private Limited. Yes, please.
सर वॉइस क्लियर नहीं आई है सर आपकी, थोड़ा काफी डिस्टरबेंस आ रहा है. दिस इज प्रतीक.
ओके,
यस सर.
प्रवीण, आपको क्लियर है आवाज? प्रवीण
सर डिस्टरबेंस एक्चुअली थोड़ा सा ज्यादा आ रहा है. जी जी, आप सही है सर. थोड़ा सा लाउडर हो, क्योंकि अभी हम काफी सारी जगह लाइव हैं तो अटेन्यूएशन वगैरह और सिग्नल लॉस भी है हमारे पास फेसबुक और बाकी जगह पे, तो थोड़ा सा लाउडर सर हो जाएगा तो।
Yes. I'll do that. You please let me know so
Yes.
that
Yes, sir.
जो हमारा ऑब्जेक्टिव है आप लोगों को सही पहुंचे वो that should be very clear. Okay. So
जी सर।
Mr.
Okay, sir.
Manwani has 18 years of experience in entrepreneur. He has won Entrepreneur Excellence Award 17-18, and there have been many achievements of Tesla Group. And for detail of these achievements, you can log into Tesla Group website, and you can see it there. And the third speaker who will be part of this webinar is Mr. Ankur Bedi. He's the head of operations, Tesla Sambhav Skill Development Private Limited. He has more than 7 years of experience in skill development, training and development, specialization in electronics. He has handled various government projects like STAR, PMKVY, ESDM, etc. He has experience of working with government of Kerala, government of Karnataka, government of Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, and government of Haryana. He's currently heading the Skill Park Multi-Skills Center, Trivula, that is in Kerala, and he's adding ESSCI EMC Model Training Center in Noida as well. So welcome to Mr. Varun Manwani and Mr. Ankur Bedi. Thank you very much for being part of this webinar. So I will request, I would like to start with Mr. Varun Bhatia as to let us know what are the, since he is a part of Electronic Skills Sector Council of India, he is a part of what are the skills electronic sector is basically important for electronic sector, and what are the different projects that are being given, and what are the different skill requirements, what are the career opportunities for EET people. So please guide all the participants in this direction. Over to Mr. Varun Bhatia.
Can we start with Varun Manwani sir, because he's having another call also after half an hour. So he will start and then we will continue.
Sure.
Okay, Mr. Varun Manwani, welcome to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. And sorry, Varun, for taking your place.
No, that's fine.
I have to head to another event.
I can understand.
So,
please.
Yeah. Once again, thank you, everyone, for inviting me for this webinar. And I would like to start with that. I hope everyone is safe, whether they are at home or their office or at the institution. So I hope everyone is doing fine. I must thank Meet to begin with for organizing this webinar, the students of Meet, so that they understand that what the future is in these troubled times. We all know that the situation today is very bleak in terms of the numbers, etc., increasing. But then always in such situations, there are opportunities as well. And we have to try and make the best of those opportunities. So I think Meet has organized a good webinar so that all of us from industry, from institutions, etc., can throw our ideas, and students can understand where do we stand as of today. So as the theme of the webinar is, what are the opportunities that lie ahead for in terms of job opportunities, or what is the future? So first of all, although this might sound a bit negative or pessimistic, but it is a reality. So we should all understand the reality that as of today, and probably for the next few months, the situation is going to be pretty tight. We all keep on hearing about, there are companies which are struggling, and therefore, again, I want to make this very clear that students should understand that this is a tough time. So while a lot of companies have gone on a hiring freeze, at the same time, it is a time when the students can work upon their skills to look at whatever new opportunities are. So don't lose heart, but prepare yourself, because nothing is there permanent. So even this pandemic will not be permanent. yes, we'll all probably lose a few months, maybe a year, but be positive, use your time to hone on your skills and move forward, so that this 1 year overall in the entire life of our tenure of our life may not be such a big deal. So don't lose heart. Anyways, so coming to what specific industries one should look at, or specific activities or future you should look at. The common items which we all keep on talking about, which definitely have a future, are things like medical electronics. That's probably the hottest topic as of today. And in medical electronics, there are various areas that people are looking at, such as scanners, ventilators, etc. And some terrific work has happened in India over the last 2.5 months, whereby in a record time, some of these equipment have been designed and even manufactured in India. When I say record time, please understand that 2.5 months, considering a lockdown, is a very difficult period. And so, some of these equipment that have been designed and developed is definitely in need of the hour. But not only in these areas, medical electronics is a field where India has been way behind. And basically, we have been buying medical equipment from other countries such as Japan, China, etc. So while some of these equipment have got more focus now due to the pandemic, but medical electronics will always be a requirement for the future. And more digital electronics is coming into medical stream as well. So that will definitely be a demand. And a lot of startup companies in this area are already doing activities so that they are able to build low-cost solutions for the masses, and also build tailor-made solutions for the Indian people, considering the Indian conditions. So that's one area where definitely there's demand. Another key area which we all talk about as of today, with the work from home and the IT industry getting a lot of let's say coverage due to the issues of working from home, such as bandwidth, having laptops, having to, every company needs more space. They need to have security, safety. So there is going to be a lot of activity in the hardware space for IT products. Again, within the IT products, when we talk about even very large companies such as HCL, Infosys, Wipro, etc. Imagine the number of people that they have. You're looking at 70,000, 80,000, 100,000 people. And now suddenly these people have to work from home. So think about the security and safety of their home environment. You're not in a safe company environment anymore. So the IT infrastructure of those companies has to make sure that those individuals at their homes are working securely and safely. So there will be a demand for hardware-based solutions, software-based solutions, whereby there is enough of connectivity. The bandwidth is high for them to be able to operate from home. It is a secure environment, and the data is not getting corrupted or it is not getting lost. So such kind of activities, both hardware and software, will become very popular. For example, this app itself that we're using, Zoom, I think most of us had not heard of this until the lockdown, or probably just before the lockdown. And so it's become so popular. So, and behind such apps, there is this robust IT hardware infrastructure that is running, besides AI and other algorithms that are running. So so medical electronics and IT hardware infrastructure are going to be two key areas, at least of immediate importance, considering the pandemic situation. But if you look at a more longer term, because not everybody, as if you talk about students and the youth, not everybody will be looking at these areas only, and they will have specialization in these areas. So there will be many other opportunities that will arise. A few of those, with these social distancing norms in place, and that probably becoming the future as well, there will definitely be a huge demand for what we call automation via the Industry 4.0 concept. I'm not saying that Industry 4 and automation will mean that human beings are not required. They will definitely be required, but there will be a different job profile for those people. There will be a lot more automation. So there will be robotics that will help that automation be implemented in companies. So there will be a demand for robotics. And when we talk about robotics, yes, there is definitely hardware, but there will be an integration of hardware, application software, embedded software, how to use these products, because robotics are usually customized. A particular machine can be very specific to a particular line. And so several industries that are working on the same line may use the same machine. But a robot is such a piece of equipment that it is specific to the item that it is being used for. So let's say if you are making laptops and you have robots in place to do the laptop assembly instead of human beings, then those robots will be very, very customized depending upon your way of building that laptop, the volume that you want to build. And there will be some level of human intervention as well, because all the processes cannot be done by a robot. So these are some areas, as I mentioned, automation, robotics, and Industry 4.0, whereby there will be a lot of requirement for AI-based algorithms. So we have to all, as I said, prepare ourselves that we not only focus on the streams that we are all already in, but hone our skills in these areas where the demand will come. Another point I would like to make is that, as I see it, due to the current condition, in the short term to medium term, the demand for consumer electronics will definitely be low. One, because the malls, shopping complexes, etc., have not yet opened. And even the next few months when they open, they will open very carefully. But while consumer electronics will be down, there will be other areas such as telecommunication. Again, mobile phones will definitely have importance, although they come as a consumer durable, but mobile phones coming with more and more level of innovation will definitely have a demand. Then with a lot of, as we all keep on hearing about the US-China trade war, and now this voice has spread over to other countries, not necessarily from a trade standpoint, but because of the coronavirus. So there is a lot of shift of business from China, not only to India, for sure. There's a lot of shift that is happening to even the other South Asian countries, such as Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, etc. So with the incoming of these companies from China to India and other countries, there will definitely be a demand in electronics manufacturing. And therefore, EMS companies like ourselves, who will get more and more business, we will be needing more manpower at all levels. And when I say all levels, it will be at the labor level, at technician level, it will be in hardcore manufacturing, testing, troubleshooting, quality, and several other areas such as this. Even engineering, where the soft documentation or the hard documentation is being worked upon, there will be a lot of demand there. In addition, let's not forget about when we talk about Digital India and we talk about Make in India, one very important factor is we're looking at smart cities, something which has been rolled out over the last few years, and it is gaining traction. So again, when we talk about smart cities, we're looking at similar things such as IoT devices. And IoT devices have become very, very popular as of today, very popular with the startup community as well. And IoT devices, are basically, basically can be used in all walks of life, any kind of industry, whether it be automotive, it be asset tracking, it be medical electronics, all sorts of things. For example, and I can give you one of our examples that we ourselves are engaged into. So we picked up an order from a customer in the US where, let's say, all of us in our colleges, in our companies, we all have these employee tags, right? So these employee tags are all RF based, but just simple RF. You just swipe it on the machine and that's about it. But we have bagged an order from a customer where they have gone beyond this. It's an IoT tag. So it's a combination of an IoT product and also an asset tracker, where the asset is the human being. And by putting IoT in it, not only are they able to know that where the employee is, so there is no proxy attendance, etc., but you're able to track. You're able to track where that employee is, or if it's in a hospital, where your patient is, where your doctor is, what is the history of that particular patient. Through that tag itself, because it being an IoT device, it carries all information about the particular patient or whatever the doctor is doing through a particular software. So as I said earlier, that there's this combination of software and hardware that is becoming more and more prevalent. So IoT in such areas makes things smart, and so smart cities, what we're talking about, whether it be smart lighting, smart signaling, and other IoT solutions, that's going to be a very important point as well. Obviously, again, as we've all seen that during this lockdown period, when people needed entertainment and they could not go to cinema halls and they could not, watch movies at any particular physical location, the most important apps became the OTT apps, such as Netflix, Amazon. And therefore, behind these apps, there's a lot of content that is there. And this content basically is done based on recording. So for recording, you need a lot of multimedia and media equipment. So that's also going to be very important, such as 5G devices and also other recording media, overhead media, which is going to be very, very important for these kind of OTT apps. In addition, if you look at, again, this lockdown period and the period thereafter, it's quite interesting to know that during this period, if anything has kept alive a bit, has really been the exports. The domestic market was completely shut down. When I say completely, means everything. Even the companies which are manufacturing or in services of essential items, leaving those, anything that was being manufactured was primarily for exports. So much so that even if you look at automotive sector, very, very few cars were sold. But out of whatever was sold, even if they were 8,000, 9,000 cars, most of that 70 to 80% was exported. So the students and those who are looking for jobs and those who are preparing for jobs in the future, you should target to look at export companies, because they will definitely have a much better potential in terms of providing offers to students, because exports will take us through. And again, coming back to that, the fact that there is going to be this this trade war between the US and China, a lot of the business that moves to India will be export driven. And therefore, one should target export companies as well, not only in electronics necessarily, but across the board, whether it is electronics or it is mechanical items or it is other kind of manufacturing. Exports will be a big driver. Yes, please.
Sir?
Yes.
So there is a question from our participant. They are asking, what is the meaning of OTT?
Okay. So OTT basically stands for over the top. So when we talk about these apps like Netflix and Amazon, these are over the top. So these are not direct streaming. It is all over the top, which means it's on the internet. So that's why the term OTT as a short form.
Yes, sir. So can we give them 2 minutes so that they can ask questions in that part?
Yeah, let me just give me a minute. I'm just about to finish, and then I'll be able to take any questions that they may have.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. The last but not the least, again, the automotive industry is going through a lot of pain. However, when things do get back on track, and they surely will have to, because the automotive sector is one of India's biggest employers, the e-mobility solutions will be the need of the hour. and so much so now, because again, it will all be interlinked with internet, etc. So those are areas where, when we talk about Atmanirbharta and self-reliance, the government has taken steps so that we become Atmanirbhar, or we become self-reliant in this particular segment. So there's a lot of push here, whether letting people, set up battery manufacturing plants, or come up with e-solutions for two-wheelers, for cycles, for three-wheelers, four-wheelers, etc. So that's going to be an important area as well. Just before I end, I once again want to remind everyone that please be positive during this period. Don't be corona positive, but please be positive with your mindset, and prepare during this period. Yes, it's some time loss, but it is probably only 8 months, 10 months, a year. A life is not lost. So don't be disheartened, be positive, and hone your skills during this period so that you prepare yourself for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Varun, for describing in which direction electronics is going. And one of the important sectors you have mentioned is the medical electronics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what I wanted to know, from all the participants, is that what are the key skills if someone wants to make his or her career in medical electronics? What are the skills that he or she must own medical electronics?
Okay, so first of all, while we talk about medical electronics, but let us treat it as any other product, right? When we talk about electronics, electronics is something which is today, it's in every field, right? It's in entertainment, it's in IT products, it's in medical, it's in automotive, it's in wearable solutions. So medical electronics, again, should be treated as any other product. The only add-on really would be that you are dealing with a sensitive subject of human life and of human information. So whether it be a blood sample that you're taking, or it be a nasal swipe that you're taking. So that's the most critical area. For example, when we talk about automotive, we talk about certain automotive standards where we have to realize that a car will go through vibration, it will go through several types of environments, etc. So the key differentiator definitely is here you're dealing with human life. And so there are certain guidelines based from the industry based on which you have to design your product, keeping those guidelines in place. And that's the only customization really. Otherwise, if you look at a medical product, it basically has a combination of all the basic things. So it'd be electronic hardware, it'd be, again, embedded software, and it have an application software. Now, it all depends upon what product are you looking at. It can be very simplistic, just doing a simple, as I said, if you have a blood sample, you're just checking the type of blood, or you have something which is more in-depth where you are doing your BP calculation, or you go in for something which is more specific where you're doing, like ventilators, etc. So it's not rocket science. In as much as you're doing any other product, it is similar to that, any other electronic product. Like a phone is there for the phone industry. You have to keep in mind the specifications of the mobile phone industry. Similarly, here you have to keep in mind the specifications of the medical industry. And those specifications are available online, which one can easily access. For example, from an ISO standpoint, the ISO standard for medical electronics is ISO 13485. People who are interested in that, they can look up this standard, and it gives you an idea what are the basic requirements that one has to keep in mind.
Okay, thank you very much. And there's one more thing that since you are director of Tesla Group of Industries, and while since you said there are so many requirements nowadays for at the various levels, at the engineer level also, at the lower level also. So as far as engineer requirements are concerned, what are the skills, what are the important attributes you see into perspective, into your perspective, in your perspective employee?
Okay, so I think the first and foremost thing is, and my advice would be to anyone, whether he's an engineer or she is a ITI or in any other vocational background they have. When you approach any kind of work that you do, you should first of all approach it with an open mind. Because when you have an open mind, you are open to learning. And whatever one has studied or whatever educational background you have, it's ultimately not enough. You're constantly learning. So that's the first most important point. Secondly, as I said, if I just talk about the business we are in, an engineer has got several roles to play. Whether it be, if we start with just engineering documentation, right? Preparing the right kind of work instructions for the labor force, preparing the right kind of work instructions from a manufacturing perspective, preparing process instructions, preparing product instructions. Secondly, if you look at the testing field, testing is a very, very major field, and there are companies in the world who in just testing itself. I'm sure we have all heard of Keysight, which used to be an HP company, which used to be HP earlier and now is Keysight. Keysight and so many other companies as such are very, very large companies in the world who make testing solutions and test equipment. So that's a very major area. And how to use those test equipment in a particular company on a product, how to debug, how to troubleshoot, how to read a schematic, how to repair the product, how to apply what you have learned whenever you face a problem. So that's in the testing space. Then when we talk about software, perhaps someone in terms of the customer has prepared a software which you need to write in your microcontroller. So how do you write that software into the microcontroller? That is important. Knowing the steps on doing that, knowing what problems come up, knowing which tools to use, working with the manufacturers of those particular components to be able to know what issues happen when you're doing the programming or the software burning. That's again an area where engineers can work a lot. A very critical area again is, which in our industry we call statistical process control. Even if you have diplomas and ITIs, they can be limited due to their educational background, but engineers probably can understand statistical process control very, very easily because they have learned that through their education. At the same time, statistical process control will help one not only study the product, come out with several parameters of the process and of the product, but it also helps you understand the product, what are the nuances of the product, and how should one present information to the customer, or how should one ensure that the product that we are manufacturing at our location has the same yield, has the same results in terms of repeatability. And another critical area from a quality standpoint, we probably all learn and read about the 7QC tools and all these other technical jargons. But being able to utilize this in an actual working environment, on the shop floor, these are all areas where I think only engineers can contribute in the right fashion. No doubt, even diplomas and ITIs who've got experience over time, they are also able to contribute. But engineers come with that base, with their education, with their power of thinking differently. And so these are some of the basic areas where they definitely have opportunities.
Okay, thank you very much. Then I'd like to have a question from participants, from Mr. Varun. Pratik, if you see the questions, you please, all the participants are requested to put their queries into chat box.
Yes, sir. There's a question from Sir Ishu Verma, and his question is, he's from BTech EC finalist student, and he is asking, how can I start my career in medical electronics field, and how can I get any opportunity? Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, I got your question. Well, it's actually a very broad question that has been asked, that, how should I start in this field? First of all, if you want to look at medical electronics, choose a particular product or a stream that you are interested in. When I say choose a particular product, suppose you're looking at a blood pressure monitoring system, then choose that particular stream, research about it, that what exactly is already available, what is not available, how can you contribute in terms of a disruptive technology, or are you looking at disruptive pricing, or are you looking at making a product which is easily usable by the masses? So first, get your thoughts very clear by discussing with your superiors, whether they're in the college or seniors in different companies. Next, if this is a startup, then you should definitely look at preparing a business plan on how you want to execute any project that you're looking at. These are the two key areas before you start anything.
Thank you, sir. And the next question.
I would like to add something into this. Since,
Yeah.
This is, from student point of view, there are some skill sets which must be gathered to enter into medical electronics. And one of them must be your embedded system skill. So if we are comfortable in embedded system programming, and we are comfortable in the sensors, what are the different sensors, how to integrate this sensor with the embedded system. And of course, you have mentioned the robotics. Robotics is also part, is one of the application of robotics enters into medical electronics. So if you have these skills, then definitely medical electronics, this will help you to enter into medical electronics field. Plus, some of the IoT and the communication part will also be important to learn this. Okay.
Yes, I agree with you. And I did mention earlier that, today when we're looking at products, it's a combination of hardware, software, embedded. And so if any student who's interested in this area and is looking at a solution, he or she individually cannot be an expert at all of these fields. So probably work together with people, those who have more interest and more knowledge in the embedded field, those who have more knowledge in the hardware and inclination towards the hardware side, and others who are more on the software side. So you have to try and pool all of it together.
Okay. Pratik, you can take up another question, please.
Yes, sir. So there's a question from Ayush Kamal Verma, and he's asking, sir, how would it be helpful for CSE students? He's asking the common question actually.
Sorry, helpful for?
CSE, computer science students.
Okay. But you're asking how will it be helpful? What exactly are you referring to? So are we talking about medical electronics?
Varun, I think Mr.
Let's
Varun,
wait for
I
it.
think that now I can further clarify. If you see, nowadays we are into a domain which is called the ICT domain, in which EC, CS, IT, and MCA people are working together with a common skill set. So I think this particular participant has inquiry whether how CSE people can enter into this. I mean to say medical electronics, or how CSE people can contribute into electronics industry. If I'm right.
Okay, so as I think as I just mentioned that, one has to not only concentrate on the field that you're probably getting educated in alone, you have to look at different areas. When one is an engineer, you have a base and you have that engineering ability to be able to think out of the box and look at different solutions for a particular situation. So don't only necessarily look at one particular stream, try to apply the learning in different areas. So, medical electronics is not, in fact, I don't think there's a medical engineering degree, right? It's a combination. So, students have to look at what their expertise is. If you're on the computer software side, work with someone who is more on the hardware manufacturing side, so that you all can combine your strengths and you can work on a solution. Not necessarily you have to start to look at everything yourself. In today's times, nobody really does that. So you have to outsource certain activities. You have to focus on certain activities where your expertise is. So if you are good at, let's say, the application software, you can probably outsource the rest to somebody else. Take the case of Uber, take the case of Oyo. Now, Uber doesn't own any cars. Uber, the owner does not drive himself. The fact is that they have made an application software which is easy to use in terms of user interface. And that's the focus. Yet, it is an industry where you're talking about ferrying people from point A to point B. Again, when you talk about Oyo, the idea is not that the owner of Oyo owns all these hotels. He probably owns none of the hotels, but they're the largest hotel room company in the world. So they're just a hotel aggregator. So if you have a computer science background or degree, you can look at what your expertise is, building the software, building the application, integrating the sensors with the hardware, looking at how to collect the data, preparing a product which has got all of this together, and do it with the help of other partners who are either companies already existing in the hardware space, or take up some of your friends and colleagues who can join with you in joint development of the solution.
Okay. Pratik, is there any other question from Mr. Varun right now?
Yes, sir. Sir, we have some questions, but yeah, can we discuss with other panelists too? I think it will be a great thing.
Okay, Mr. Varun, there is one question that I would like to ask you. That one of the participants is asking how to enter into the company like Sony and Samsung. These are brand electronic companies. If someone wants to enter, then
I didn't get you very well, but I think you mentioned companies like Samsung.
Yes.
How to enter actually? How to enter in companies like as a Samsung, Sony, and like brand companies?
Okay, probably I'll repeat myself. As of today, this is unfortunately a bad time. For the next few months, a lot of these big brands are also not going to hire people. I'm sorry, this might sound a bit negative, but that's a fact. So what these people are looking at is talent who are multi-talented. If you're just from a particular stream, that may not help. You should have a specific stream, yet you should have other vocational skills. And that's what, whether we talk about, and I'm sure Varun Bhatia from ESSI can talk about that, but vocational skills is very, very important. So that they realize that you are an all-rounder, you can come in with other skills and other areas you can work on besides only the stream that you are from. Getting to these companies is not easy, because definitely there is a lot of data that they check. But I think if in your own institution, if you are amongst the top 15, 20, 50 students, then you definitely stand a good chance, because that's the only way of them knowing that you are bright enough. But other than that, if he or she has developed and built up anything in their own career in terms of some kind of a solution, some kind of a hobby that they had, and they were able to build a hardware or software solution, and you can present that to them, then they would definitely be interested to pursue talking to you. And yes, most of these companies go through a professional hiring companies. So you have to contact those companies and try for an opportunity.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Varun. And since we have collaboration with we have MOU with you. We have signed that MOU to have participated in industrial visit in your company as well. And recently we have received a requirement from your company also, finally a requirement. So you have asked 3 students to join the company. That is under process. Yes. So I foresee a constructive and positive relation with Sahasra Electronics, and I think that through such webinars, we will keep guiding students the way we are now, and we keep visiting your industry as well. And if there are some projects at your end that we can develop together, then we are most welcome for that.
Yes, definitely. It's a good partnership that we have with your institution. And as I said at the start, that I really appreciate this initiative that you all have taken. And thank you again for having me here. We will definitely partner with you all and other academia as well, because unfortunately many industries don't do that. But we believe that students should have these industry visits where they can, have a look and feel of the real life environment and come face to face with what actually happens. So yeah, sure, we are more than happy to partner with yourselves, and I'm sure Ankur and his team will work on the specifics. So thank you again. Okay. I have to rush for the other event. So all the best to all the speakers, and thank you again for having me over.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Varun. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, Prateek. Prateek.
Yes, sir.
Now, Varun Bhatia sir will continue.
Yes, sir.
Bhatia sir.
Yes. Thanks, Ankur. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. And like in continuation with what Varun said, absolutely in line with his thoughts. And
1 minute, sir, can I tell? We need to share a PPT, or we can go ahead as like earlier.
As you say.
You can share your PPT, sir. You can share your PPT.
Sorry.
So I can share.
Yes, you can share.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
You can continue, sir. I will share. Don't worry.
Okay. Thanks, Ankur. So yeah, I totally agree with the the thoughts of a current scenario we are in, and yeah, it's nothing to worry about it. It's just a phase of some manner in which how the industries are responding to the current demand, and a lot of points are already being covered by, like he mentioned, medical electronics, and many queries were also there. So just to add on it, right now we are also working with couple of institutes. Like I'm working with IIT Kanpur, and we are doing one project with them where they are manufacturing and designing a ventilator. Like already we know there is a lot of demand coming up in the country for medical ventilators. And apart from ventilator, you must all have seen like many IoT health devices. They are coming up like Fitbit and all those things. So what's the need of the hour? We need to understand that thing. So the need of the hour is like specifically looking into this scenario. If we are able to innovate something which is betterment for the society, like any healthcare product, specific to that, a new
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Varun sir.
I think some net connectivity.
Yeah, there might be some net connectivity issue in that part.
Yes. So till the time I have prepared a PPT for all of you. You can just review where the electronics is useful for in our lives. In all the segments, you can see electronics is there. I hope screen is shared.
Sir, screen is shared, but PPT is not opened yet.
Not opened yet.
Yes, sir. We are able to see a folder of Marketing Flyer Webinar CSP, but unable to see the open PPT, sir.
Just a minute.
To all the participants, the form of feedback will be shared soon, and the feedback form will comprise all the details regarding certificates as well. So I think that you should enjoy and question till last, and it will be shared soon. Be responsive and ask your questions in question and answer panels.
Give me 1 minute. I will just ask from Varun sir about the status.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Till now, you can ask your questions in question and answer panel, so that they can have ample amount of questions to answer. And we have some questions in waiting as well.
He is coming back. So just I would like to continue. Like if you see, there are a lot of opportunities are there for students in all the segments, all the fields. Like you can see here, there are transport field, communication and entertainment field. I'm not able to see either. Screen is there or
yes,
not,
sir.
Prateek?
Sir, screen is visible, but I think PPT is not opening.
PPT is not opening.
Yeah. No, sir. It is stuck on the PPT format for webinar. MIET is visible, but PPT is not opening. The folder is visible.
Folder is only visible.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. Can I go with news here?
Yes, sir. I think that you can connect it once again.
This is okay now?
No, sir. Yeah, sir. Yeah, it is able. Yeah, we are able to see it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can start from first page. We are on the third page. Yeah. Webinar on electronic manufacturing. Yes, sir. We are visible. Let's ask to others too. It is visible to all. Kindly reply in the chat panel too.
I think it is visible. Let's go ahead.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So as you see, I have prepared second page. India is going to be become a new electronic manufacturing hub for the world, as our Honorable Prime Minister has also given tagline "Vocal for Local," made in India already. They have given. A government is working on Make in India things. From here, I would like to start. Our life is depend upon the electronics. If you see, there are a lot of things where electronics is there. And if we see these things, then we can imagine where we can go there as an engineer. I hope now it's visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So there is a segments: transport, communication and entertainment, home, industrial automation activities, medical, like Varun sir has mentioned, smart infra, where we need connectivity, like now webinar is going on, smart city projects are going on. We are looking for everything connectivity, like even digital lock in our car, sensor-based lock in our manufacturing facilities, sensor-based lock in your IT facilities in colleges also. So everywhere we are looking for the electronics. Security and surveillances, CCTV, biometric, like that we are using. Now the things are changed. Now education is also one based upon the electronics. If you see today also we are doing webinar through the laptop, through the internet, through the mobiles. Everyone is connected through only electronics. Just a minute, I am getting call from Varun sir. Hello. Yes. नहीं participation का limit तो नहीं होगा sir.
नहीं sir, he is able to join.
Prateek.
Yes sir.
He can join now also, no?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
With
He
same
can
link.
join. Yes sir. And let me ask Mr. Vishwas sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Varun sir has left the.
He can rejoin. He can rejoin.
Okay sir. Okay sir.
I think Mr. Ankur can continue his slides meanwhile.
Definitely. Actually, he is also connecting, but I think Zoom is getting out. Don't know why.
Okay.
I'll send the invitation again. Prateek, just WhatsApp to him, huh?
Okay.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
So, as we have seen, now in education part also, electronics is very important for us, and in the different through the different mediums also, like online classes. Now every meeting is going on, like in our company also. I can give example from my company itself. We have getting circular from HR. We are not going for the meeting from next 3 months, next 6 months, face-to-face meetings. So we are going to continue with only virtual meetings. Now we have just with ASSCI, Electronic Sector Skill Council of India, we have launched industrial visit also on online mode. Here we are going to conduct industrial visit through online mode just to use our time and learn from home. Like we have given the tagline, learn from the home.
Ankur sir, sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah.
I have sent invitation on your WhatsApp number.
Okay.
Share with Varun sir.
Okay.
So discussing technical things, we have a technical issue. And electronics, as discussed till now, is the backbone of all the things. Yeah, issue, we're trying to connect it as soon as possible, but there is a technical error, so we are trying our best.
Yes. So now agriculture is also depend upon the electronics. So like I got some questions. How we can get the job? Like I have seen the questions and like that. So first we need to think about that where we are willing to go. We need to think as per our capabilities, as per our knowledge, as per our interest, as per our reach, with help of college, faculty, and definitely industry interaction. Once we will decide where we are looking forward to us at a place, then we can move ahead as per the plan. We need to make a plan where we are going to be placed. Here I have mentioned few points you can see the electronics sector is growing and growing day by day. From at least we can say from previous 5 to 6 years. The size of this EMS is known as electronic manufacturing services. I hope you are not aware about this word. The size of global EMS market is $450 billion, and contribution from Indian EMS market is around 5% as of now. We are looking forward for increasing this percentage 5 to 10, 5 to 8, 5 to 12, 5 to 15, any within next 2-3 years. As per the policies, as per the, like you are seeing that all the companies are shifting from the China to the India in other countries. So definitely our EMS market will be increasing. With the adoption of exponential technologies, rapid skill enhancement, and new work strategies and processes, approx 47 lakh new jobs are expected to be created in next 4 years. These data are based upon the market research we have done with the help of Electronic Sector Skill Council of India. Because of Varun sir is not there, because I have introduced him, because he is the main person who is doing the skill gap research activity in the Electronic Sector Skill Council of India. So you can see jobs in these 9 subsectors, which I have given below: consumer electronics, IT hardware, electronic manufacturing, communication and broadcasting, security and surveillances, e-mobility, PCB design and manufacturing. Obviously, it's a backbone of electronics. Automation, because of we are going forward with the automation and connectivity. Components and semiconductor is the base of the electronics. So obviously it will be there. So there are 9 major subsectors where students will get the job. As an engineer, myself also looking, these segments are important for our career. These highlights are for the electronic system and design and manufacturing. Indian market will grow from 12 lakh crore to rupees 24.8 lakh crore in 2025. So we can see it will be going for just double within 5 years. So obviously, who are in engineering now in college, either in 3rd year, either in final year, either in 2nd year, they can look forward their availability in the industry within 1 or 2 year, 3 year, 4 years, and especially in the electronic system design and manufacturing segment. And these expected exponential growth due to the Make in India, as you all aware about that, Digital India, and now everyone is going forward for the vocal for local. Sectors, the emerging sectors are given below, like automation, energy efficient segment, where we are talking about the energy savings, solar, LED, and now we are going with e-vehicles, electric vehicles. Electronic manufacturing services, which is the main thing. E-mobility, digitization, semiconductor, smart city, Internet of Things, 3D printings, etc. These are the emerging sectors where we are looking forward in next 2-3 years, very exponential growth. Sectors, uniqueness of these sectors are spread in whole electronics, like either in any part of product, in any product, we can see the automation, we can see the energy saving, we can see the digitization, we can see the smart connectivity. Now everything is connected with each other. These are the main things which I would like to show you, all of you, 20 greenfield EMC electronic manufacturing clusters are approved by the government just previous year. These electronic manufacturing clusters are in all over India, and one electronic manufacturing cluster is having, I can say, minimum 10 to 15 industries related to electronic manufacturing only. So we can see out of 20 electronic manufacturing clusters, maybe we are going to be see 200 companies will be going to expand their manufacturing segment. Definitely, they will give the opportunity to the engineers also, diplomas also, ITIs also. Obviously, if industry is growing, then definitely employment will be grow. In an industry investment of rupees 54.8 crore and to generate 6.43 lakh employment. It is the target, this target given by the government for these 20 greenfield electronic manufacturing clusters and 3 brownfield clusters to generate the 6.43 lakh employment. And these are like there are 5 points which are the modified special incentive package schemes which are launched by the government, especially 418 MSIP applications are received with rupees 1,12,861 crore proposals. If you see, 201 applications are also received and approved also from the government for the industries with investment of 52 crore approximate. Mobile manufacturing, especially our government is targeting mobile manufacturing, and especially if we talk about the Noida region, NCR region. So here we as an industry and government all are targeting with 50,000 persons in next 2-3 years to employ. Overall, electronic manufacturing will employ approximate 2 lakh people in next 3 years for SMT line, assembly, quality, testing, and reliability. I have mentioned these 4 points only: SMT line, assembly, quality, testing, and reliability, because these are the segments where engineers are working, because there are a lot of other departments also there inside the industry, but there may be some other persons are also required, ITI, diploma, and other persons. But this SMT line is known as a surface mount technology. Here only engineers are working for the programming, for the maintenance of machinery, for the handling of the process PCB assembly. Here you can see the record in the terms of numbers which we have researched in all over India with the help of Electronic Sector Skill Council of India. If you see, workforce till 2019 is 42 lakh in consumer electronics and IT hardware, and we are seeing this will be grow till 2025 to 92 lakh. So we can see the skill gap is 50 lakh approximate. If we see sector communication and broadcasting, there are 4 workforce till 2019, 4 lakh is there, and we are expecting till 2025 it will be 7 lakh. So there is a skill gap is a 3 lakh. If we see electronic manufacturing services, there is a skill gap of 10 lakh persons. If we see PCB design and manufacturing segment, we are seeing 87,000 skill gap. Semiconductor and components, we are seeing 54,000 skill gap. E-mobility and batteries, 7,70,000. Solar and LED, 2,21,000. Security and surveillances, 72,000. Industrial automation, 1,46,100. So we can see in previous slides, I am talking about only just like policies, conditions, segments and all the things, but here I'm talking about only the records and the numbers, where you can see lot of opportunities are there for the engineering and especially in electronics. And one, I'm just remembering one question is there from one student, how IoT and electronics is related. So electronics is a base, and we can say it is a hardware part. IoT is the application which can be applied for connectivity one to another instruments, tools, or products. Once again, here Indian electronic landscape, this is the current situation we are having in India. You can see the growth of 16% from 2003 in domestic demand is reached to the $100 billion in 2014, and it is expected to $400 billion till 2025. The consumer electronics and appliances industry in India is expected to become the 5th largest in the world by 2025. India's share in global electronic manufacturing has grown from 1.3% in 2012 to the 3% in 2018. If you see, this is the growth which we are getting within 6 months, 6 years, 5 or 6 years. So we can see this exponential growth in next 5 or 6 years also. The electronic manufacturing sector accounts for 2.5% of India's GDP and employs over 13 million people or through the directly and indirect jobs. And definitely if we talk about the increasing, so this 13 million, we can see the 20 million. India could create a digital economy of in $800 billion to $1 trillion, and India's digital economy could fuel 18 to 23% of overall economic activity by 2025.
Sir?
Yes.
Yeah, Varun sir is unable to join till now?
I think he's not able to join. Maybe. I'm just calling once again.
Yeah. So guys, you can ask your questions in the question answer panel, and we are waiting for
yes,
Varun
I will definitely answer the questions.
Yes, sir. And if you have a student from MIT second and third year, please take your doubts in a proper way in front, as because we have got an opportunity to discuss with these premiers of companies who are working in the core field of EC. So it's a great opportunity. Try to respond and ask question in question and answer panel.
Actually, he is not able to join from laptop, so he's trying now through mobile also.
It will be easy for him if he can join through phone, sir.
Yes. So here I have mentioned future sectors also. Once again, I have given like 9 subsectors there in first or second slide. You can see the future sectors here also. Like now in lockdown, we have got introduced through the drone. We are watching drone everywhere in every street, and police is working with the drone. Earlier, only defense was using, but now you can see due to the corona, we all has gone through the drone. So surveillance, automation, energy, e-mobility, EMS, electronic manufacturing services, connected devices like IoT, smart home, smart office, smart city, everything. We can see our possibilities in all these segments. Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Sure.
I hope everyone has seen these segments and.
Yes, sir. If screen is visible to all, kindly respond in chat box. And these are all the future sectors which are visible on the screen.
Actually, I am sharing this screen especially for all, because we can talk to everyone anytime, but these are the data which we have taken from the market research team, which we have done for the skill gap identifications, and this is very important to understand from faculty side also, from student side also, and from our side also as an industry, because
Yes.
if we know the actual requirements, then we can go ahead with our plans, either as an industry, either as a college, either as a student. A student can opt his career in these segments, college can opt companies for the placements, and industry can opt a student as per the requirement. So these all three are related to each other, and especially if we can see the potential with the data.
If you permit, can we have this PPT for us?
Definitely, I will forward to you, no problem.
Okay, thank you very much.
Here, key supports and initiative from the government and major opportunities. I have given two major points here. If you see, first is local demand. As you see in whole India, now we are looking forward for the everything localized, local manufacturing in every segment. I cannot say only electronics, in every segment. So obviously, electronics is also there. Opportunities, definitely, if we are going with the policies, with good policies from the government, then definitely the opportunities are there, and every industry is going forward for the expansion plans with new technologies, increasing investment from the government also and from the industries part also. Policies, now we can see the support from government also. All the policies are very supportive for the industries, so definitely we can think about our growth. Foreign presence and JVs, you can see lot of foreign companies are coming to India, either for the manufacturing, either for the service, either for the only just office, either for the technology partner, either for the knowledge partner, but they are coming as a joint venture. So definitely we are getting benefit from them also. Public private partnerships, now government and industries both are working together. I think Varun sir is not out now. Opportunities for the engineers, you can see the departments. I have mentioned the departments especially where engineers can go and get the job. First is product design and development, especially engineers can think about this segment, product design and development. Manufacturing, obviously, in the manufacturing, lot of departments are there. Like Varun sir has mentioned that testing, programming, process, engineering, quality, all departments are coming under the manufacturing segment. So that's why we are telling the electronic manufacturing services. Under electronic manufacturing services, everything is coming, product design to the development, to the product assembly, manufacturing, testing and programming, quality management, and then maintenance of the machines, tools, instruments, and obviously products. Servicing is in two types, organized and unorganized. Organized type is a service from the company support, and unorganized is the personal supports. Like if our any phone is going to the damage, then we are going to the authorized service center. So it's a servicing organized way, in an organized way. If we are going any shop, this is the part of servicing in unorganized way. So there are a lot of opportunities in everywhere. Others also, for the engineers especially, I have mentioned other parts also, because engineers are having capability to think beyond the limit. And intelligence is the most important thing which engineers are having. That's why I have mentioned these other segments also, like sales and marketing, supply chain management, business development, IT support, e-commerce, digital marketing and branding. Everywhere engineer can get employment as per their interest, because every student is not having good communication, so he can go for the manufacturing segment. If engineer is having good communication and good convincing power, he can go for the marketing also. So there are a lot of things need to think, and as per the interest, he can choose any field. Future growth drivers for the future employment, I have mentioned. Apart from the manufacturing, these are the things where the software part is also required together with electronics, like artificial intelligence, big data intelligence, digital manufacturing, machine learning, 3D printing, blockchain, robotics. Everywhere, electronics and software, both are required. So, like one student has asked a question, how it's related to computer science. So he can see the things, electronics and IT now working together. So we cannot say like we are going for the only electronics, we are going for the only computer science. It will be going together for everyone. Without electronics, maybe your computer science is not able to do anything, and without computer science, maybe electronics cannot do all the things. These are the points, like I have mentioned, the key challenges faced by the industries at the skills front, where students need to work. This is the last slide. I have mentioned these points. For especially students, they need to understand where industries are facing challenges to get trained manpower. We as an industry are growing day by day, but we are not getting trained manpower. We are not getting manpower, especially for the especially as per the requirement of the technologies. We can say students are having good knowledge. They are having 80% marks. They have cleared all the exams. Everything is there. Good communication skills. But there are a lot of challenges we are facing during the recruitments. So we need to work out with the college, with the students. As an industry, we are ready to participate with college and students. We always here to support college and students. If we are going to be work in these things, definitely we will get employment. Like if you see lack of multi-talented skill employee now, if everyone is coming to us, he is telling ki, this is my department and I'm not going for the next department. I'm not going for this another work which is allotted by his manager or his director or his superior. So it cannot be worked in the industry, in the corporate sector. So we need to be a multi-talented person who can be able to work in different segments also. Sometime our projects has gone, like if we talk about in our industry, if we are manufacturing now pen drives also for the Sony, HP and other companies. If after 4 years, after 5 years, after 6 years, after 2 years, pen drive will be closed as per the market, as per the requirement, then candidate need to shift in another department also, in another segment also, from the pen drive to the motherboard to the dash cam, to the other PCB assembly segment. So he need to be a multi-talented person who can be work for any of the department, any of the segment. At least he need to be aware about the basic things which are required inside the industry and inside the segments. Lack of technical competency inside the college, like when we are going for the recruitment, I'm not telling it's a fault of college, it's a fault of student, it's a fault of AICT, it's a fault of curriculum, but definitely there is some gap which we are facing, which is called technical competency. Students are good in their theoretical knowledge, in their lab also, whatever lab available inside the college, because college cannot establish industry. But definitely we need to work out on this point also. To understand the industry requirement, we need to connect with industries, like we need to find out the industries as per the interest also, as per the eligibility also, as per the availability also. We need to find out the industry, we need to connect with industry, we need to understand their requirement, we need to make yourself ready as per the industry requirement. So this is the lack of technical competency, and I can say the practical competency as per the requirement of industry. Quick adoption of newer technology. We have to like go forward for the adoption of newer technologies also. We cannot depend upon the older technologies, old technologies, and वही पुराने like पुरानी technologies, like पुराने rules and regulations, पुराने instruments, like that. Now, like PCB assembly, if you think, like as an engineer, I think सारे engineers ही हैं यहाँ पे. You heard PCB assembly. Initially, we have done PCB assembly manual things, like through the manual persons. Now we are having SMT lines from previous 5 to 10 years. So this is the surface mount technology. Now every PCB is assembled through the machine only. Nothing is required manual. Totally based upon the machine, totally based upon the programming, totally based upon the automation. So we need to adopt new technologies day by day. We need to aware about the new technologies with the interaction with industries. I think fourth point is not too much relevant, because colleges are working effectively on that part. Soft skills, always colleges are doing well, and students are also doing well. And financial constraint for self-learning. We have to go for the self-learning also. We cannot dependent all the time with the teacher, dependent on the teacher, dependent upon the industry, depend upon the superior seniors. We have to do self-learning also. The slides are now closed.
Mr. Ankur,
yeah,
thank you very much for your informative talk.
Sorry, actually, Varun Bhatia has missed due to some technical things.
Yeah, will he be able to join?
I think no, he is not able to join. Definitely, we will conduct once again one more webinar only for him. Definitely, we will do in next few days,
because we are running out of time this time also.
Yes.
Yeah, we can have meanwhile, if I sum up what all you and Mr. Varun has delegated to today, what you have mentioned in today's webinar about. So the important point that I have seen in this second or third slide of yours is the skill gap. That still there is a huge gap between engineers. Today we talk about so much unemployment, but still so many people, skilled people are required. So where is the gap is actually the right skill which are required by the industry in the right format. So that is an important point, I think. Another important point I have mentioned is that medical electronics is a booming field, along with the IoT, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. And another important point you have mentioned is the important attitude that an engineer must have, and that is your quick adoption of the new technologies. That if today we are working on the pen drives, if they obsolete tomorrow or new technologies comes in, then it is expected in the industry that the fresher or engineer changes his skill very fast and adopt new skills. That is very important point, and that is worth noting. And another important point that I appreciate is the working of academic and industry together. Because as you mentioned, not all institute can become industry. So there has to be a interface between academia and industry to fill the gap. So that I mentioned to Mr. Varun Mavani as well, that if we work together on the skills on the new small projects, even small projects, a student go and do training for some time, then definitely they will know as to what is the real problem on which industries are working, and he can basically change his mindset and effort that he is putting into engineering. His mindset may entirely change if industry and academia are working together. Another important point is the soft skill. Yes, we people are working hard to give the soft skill along with some add-on labs. Soft skills are being given from second year onwards, and there has been a drastic change, but still lot of improvement is required from the lot of effort is required from the student side as well. So now I would like to invite questions from participants. If they have any questions, they are most welcome.
There's one question: what are some major companies looking for medical electronic enthusiasts, particularly in India?
That need to be actually
apart from Biocon and you know, like Biocon is one of the names that comes up to top of my mind, which is enthusiastically investing now. But apart from Biocon, which all of the companies you think are, will be now investing a lot in medical enthusiasts, electronic medical?
Actually, as an industry, lot of industries are there, and actually, any medical industry is not investing on electronic manufacturing segment. They are like any company is working on these things, like Havells is also working. Like some companies are working for the air purifiers, some working for, like Mahindra has established ventilators. If you heard news, Mahindra has invented ventilator very cheap, in very cheap cost also. So we can see the Mahindra also. We can see another industries like as even Havells is working on these things, I think. So
I think
lot of industries are there, but we are not actually directly. We are not working with medical electronics. That's why I cannot say the names as of now. And also, I can say we are totally 100% export-oriented company, Sahasra Electronics Private Limited. So we are having all customers outside the India. So it's
will it reverse now? Do you see the reversal happening? That Sahasra will now look more towards the import rather than export?
No, it's going fine in both ways, in export and imports. We are having, if you heard about Sahasra, we are having 3 companies here. Like one company, Sahasra Electronics Private Limited, is totally export-oriented company. Another company is Info Power Technologies Limited. This company is taking care of local demand, local Indian market. So we are having both segments. Sasra is totally 100% export. Infopower is having 100% local demand, like 100% local activity, local business.
Mr. Dwivedi, another very pertinent question one of the participants has asked. Is a lot of components when it comes to electronics. You know, there was a what do you say, a monopoly of Chinese, manufacturers that you have to import from China when the components are concerned. So how do you see this trend changing, and do you see it happening in next years or maybe longer time?
इसके लिए मैं कह सकता हूँ कि now things are changing. If you heard about Deki Electronics, they are manufacturing capacitor in Noida itself. So lot of industries now going for the component manufacturing also. But yes, as of now, we are dependent upon the China and other countries, especially for the components, ICs and other special components. But now things are changed. Some companies are investing on component manufacturing also. But you know, a lot of investment is also required. Lot of policies are also required. Lot of technology required. So it cannot be changed in a night, in a 1 year, in a 2 year. So we can go forward with these things. And now definitely industries are having like plans to invest in component manufacturing also, and they are investing too, but it will take time. As of now, yes, we can say we are dependent upon the other countries for the components, not products.
Sorry to interrupt. One of the most overwhelming question that every student is asking is like company like yours, when it comes to recruitment, what do you look in the CV of a student? What is the quality that you look in the CV if somebody from our institute, let us say, applies in your company? Obviously. What are the things that you look in the CV?
Frankly speaking, I'm not seeing CV. Because CV में कुछ भी लिखा जा सकता है. We can make our LinkedIn profile, we can make our CV with the copy paste, and as per my experience, I am having 6 to 7 year experience in college, like training and development. I am going for the recruitments. I am seeing a lot of students are copying one resume to another only, even father names also. So I am not seeing CVs. I can say you have to mention your practical works, what you have done in practical things, and another point, what you have done in the industry or in interaction with the industry or inside the industry. If you have mentioned that you have completed industrial visit in this industry, you have completed industrial training in this industry, you have completed this project with this industry, so you have to do, then you can mention. Otherwise, no, please.
Brilliant. Sir,
and industry interaction is must for me, especially, I can say.
Extremely brilliant.
Yes.
Extremely brilliant. So one very, very interesting question that a lot of students are asking.
Yes.
What happened to Indian smartphone companies? There were Micromax, Carbon, Intex. There were so many Indian smartphone companies. Where they went wrong? What happened to them? What was the problem with their failure?
Actually, costing. Like if you see LED bulb also. If you are going to buy LED bulb from an Indian supplier or Indian manufacturer, it will cost approx 120. If you are going to buy any bulb, LED bulb, Chinese model, you can get 50 rupees also. The lot of things are depends, like कई सारी चीजें डिपेंड करती हैं कॉस्टिंग, और कॉस्टिंग डिपेंड करती है मैन्युफैक्चरिंग फैसिलिटी, मैन पावर, टेक्नोलॉजी, कंपोनेंट्स. लाइक अब पीसीबी है फॉर द मोबाइल इन इंडिया, वी आर नॉट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पीसीबीज, especially for the mobile. I can say we are manufacturing PCBs for other products, other things, inverter, TV, like that, like every products. But we are not manufacturing for the mobiles. So obviously, if we are buying from there, buying from there, and here we are going to assemble the components and all the things. Components we are buying from there, PCB buying from there. So definitely it will increase the cost.
You mean to say that they were not really Indian smartphones? They were actually assembled in India. They were not actually Indian smartphones.
Obviously, there are Oppo, Vivo, and other companies are not manufacturing here. They are assembly. They are doing only assembly of the mobile phones. Even if you see MI, you heard?
Yeah.
Manufacturing facility of MI? No, no.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think you have heard about the manufacturing facility of MI.
No, not even Apple or Samsung.
They are importing.
India.
They are importing. Yes, now they are giving assembly part also to the Indian manufacturers, like MI का TV जो आ रहा है इस समय स्मार्ट टीवी, it is manufactured by the Dixon Technologies in Noida itself. Like Noida की company है, like in phase 2 only, there is a Dixon Technology Private Limited. They are having facility in Hyderabad, like I think Andhra Pradesh. They are manufacturing MI TV for the MI. So they are giving the assembly part to the Indian manufacturer also, and they are also doing only the assembly part, like Oppo, Vivo. Everyone is doing only assembly part, they are not manufacturing PCBs. They are not manufacturing components.
Right, brilliant. Praveen ji, Amit sir, Prateek, any question? Because I think almost all the questions have been answered. If there are any questions still, or we should wrap up.
And one thing last I would like to say to the all engineers itself. I think अभी तो participants थोड़े कम हो गए हैं. Especially hardware part जो electronic manufacturing का है, they need to understand during the academics itself, because अभी क्या होता है कि engineers हमारे जो हम new engineers हैं, upcoming engineers हैं, they are interested in mostly software part due to the salary only. I can say especially due to the salary.
True.
But जो software part है, application parts हैं, they can learn anytime. As Ahuja sir is there, definitely I can get suggestion from him also. They can learn anytime. But during the academics, they are having opportunity to learn hardware part to interaction with the industry, with the college, with the seniors, definitely, and directly also. And they can go inside the industry, because after academics, they cannot enter the industry without job.
Absolutely.
So they need to concentrate on hardware part, manufacturing part, whatever, electronic, mechanical, anything, but manufacturing part. Because the software part hai, they can learn anytime. They can learn from the net also. They can learn from online mode also. But they cannot learn from the industry is not going to give in their home.
Absolutely.
This can be done only inside the industry. So we need to go inside the industry, interact with the industry. We need to understand the requirement of the industry.
Yes, sir, absolutely true. Sir, one question from my side. What is the scope of PCB design and manufacturing industry?
ECE?
PCB design and manufacturing industry. What is the scope of? Yes.
देखिए PCB हम generally हम लोग PCB पे ही हैं. We are in PCB manufacturing, PCB assembly, PCB design, and definitely we are having LED lighting and motherboard manufacturing, USB manufacturing. Everything is here, but totally based upon the PCBs. So that's why I'm always telling. We have met earlier also, Mr. Praveen. PCB is the backbone of the electronics. So we cannot say it is going to as a boom market, as a higher market. PCB will remain same always. Without PCB, nothing possible in electronics. So we can say the PCB is the backbone, So opportunities are also there in PCB manufacturing also, assembly also, design part also. उसका कोई like degradation या upgradation नहीं है. It will be going always fine.
PCB is Tendulkar of electronics.
हाँ, because PCB के बिना तो कुछ बन ही नहीं सकता.
Right, absolutely.
Cannot be any degradation.
I'll invite Ahuja
There
sir.
cannot be any.
Yeah.
I'll invite Ahuja sir now, Honorable Ahuja sir, to give the vote of thanks and the closing comments, which has been a very, very informational session. Ahuja sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vishwas ji. And thank you, Mr. Ankur Dwivedi. I would like to add something that there won't be degradation in PCB manufacturing, only there will be upgradation, because all the medical electronics, whatever you take in electronics, it has something in common, that is PCB. Yes. So it is going to increase, it is not going to decrease, one thing. Second thing, I would like to add something that Mr. Ankur Dwivedi has mentioned. One of the participants was mentioning what is the important skill that we must mention in CV. And important thing is that whatever small projects, as rightly said by Ankur, that we can do everything nowadays except hardware, experience the hardware. Nowadays, in this pandemic situation, you can have virtual lab, you can have software through which you can simulate, but you cannot experience through hardware. So, and unless and until you don't touch and experience and do it yourself, you won't get that confidence and that feeling. So it is important. Yes, I agree. So to mention in CV, a small project must be there, even if a small project is there in particular direction, or and of course major project has to be there. Along with that, if you have a small project, it shows your self-learning capability. And small project, some courses from online reputed organization like Coursera, or your industry interaction, or you have done something in consultancy with the industry. If you have done some project with the industry, even if a very small problem you have handled together, then it is worth mentioning in your CV. That will increase the weightage of your CV. So this is what I wanted to add into what Mr. Ankur has mentioned. And at the last, I would like to thank Mr. Varun Manwani, Mr. Varun Bhatia. Unfortunately, Mr. Varun was unable to come face to face through this virtual platform. But not an issue. Definitely, we would like to hear him through another any other day.
Yes, definitely.
I would like to see all of you, and lot of information has been given by you as to what are the skill gap, what are the requirement for EC people in industry, and what should be the attribute of engineers. These all have been given by you and Mr. Varun. So we are very thankful to all of you. You have spared so much time in this situation. You people, I think I can see your background. You are in office, I think, right now.
Yes. Yes.
So you are in office and you have spared time for us. We are very thankful to you. And please convey my regard to your director, Mr. Varun Manwani as well, and Mr. Varun Bhatia. I'll be in touch with him personally also. Sure. And we'd like to hear all of you.
Thanks to all once again from my side also, and from Sahasra also. Thanks to all.
Yeah. I'd like to thank Mr. Vishwas Gautam for providing technical support from the backend, and Mr. Praveen Chakravarti for being convener, and all the students of C and ISF for being part of this webinar, for helping us to popularize this webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much to all the participants for listening very carefully, patiently. I hope you have taken some